Hello, all 6 of my subscribers. This is Coach Chin attempting yet another long-form content video. Today's topic for discussion is loneliness and how it relates to NoFap. So, to begin, loneliness is one of the big 4 negative emotions that contribute to most men's relapses whilst on NoFap, or any addiction for that matter, or any sort of negative mental state. Depression, anxiety, loneliness is up there with one of the main contributors. It's a particularly difficult emotion to deal with because not only do you feel alone, but you also feel that you're alone in being alone. It's an extra layer of loneliness that is quite hard to digest at times. It's easy to adopt the mindset of you are the only person going through this. You are the only person that's alone. Everyone else having a great time, loads of friends, girlfriends, but it's just me. I'm the one isolated. I'm the one stuck. Why is it me? Firstly, you're not alone in feeling alone. It's more common than you think. Even people that seemingly have hundreds of friends, or they've got a relationship, or they're living with family, you can still feel lonely when you're in the company of others. In fact, there's something quite profound that I read in Nietzsche not so long ago, is that when you're lonely amongst other people, it's the crowd that eats you. But when you're lonely and you're feeling isolated, it's just yourself. In fact, loneliness is even harder to deal with when you feel it surrounded by other people, because it's, why do I still feel alone when there are other people here that I can talk to? And there's a few different reasons for that, but I want to focus on what I like to call physical loneliness. So that's kind of being separated from other people. Maybe you don't have so many friends, you don't have a girlfriend, you don't have close family that you can remain in contact with, right? I'm talking isolation. I resonate with this quite deeply because 4 years ago, I was still greatly addicted to porn, and I moved into this apartment completely on my own. Prior to this, I'd always be living with someone, whether it's housemates, whether it's family. So moving into a new place completely on my own, having to fend for myself and have this independence seemed great at first, but it came with solitude, which I wasn't accustomed to. For the first year, it was incredibly difficult trying to adapt to that lack of physical contact with people. I should mention as well that when I moved in, 2 months later, my country was locked down for COVID. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't go out and see people. So that only added to the experience I was having. The only kind of contact I would have with people was through video games, or, maybe 1 or 2 friends that I have that we'd send messages back and forth. But 95% of the time, it was just me and my own thoughts. And it's what I've just mentioned there that is the root of why loneliness is so difficult for most people to deal with. Because if you're on your own and you have something that you want to express, right? You can journal, you can shout positive affirmations in the mirror, you could do meditation, all that sort of good stuff. But if your unconscious mind has a negative self-perception, then any conscious thoughts that you have will be passed through that filter. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're trying to find the solution to a problem, I'm struggling with this, I'm lonely, what can I do? And I'm really motivated, I want to change. But then, A, I've got no one to express it to, and B, when I then look inwards, because that's the only place I can go, it's met with more negativity. You don't deserve this. You're going to be lonely forever. There's no escape from this. And that just perpetuates the cycle. You become your own worst enemy when you are feeling intense loneliness. I found the solution, I guess, accidentally. I wasn't ever really aware of how lonely I felt until I began a sort of self-transformation journey. I started reading some Stoicism, Greek philosophy, where most people start, I guess, when it turns to in terms of self-help. And what I found was, by switching your mindset as to how you perceive loneliness, that makes a huge difference. Instead of seeing loneliness as isolation from the world, everyone wants to be away from you, no one wants to talk to you, see it as your opportunity to get to know yourself better. Because we operate under this notion that you need to have loads of friends, you need to always be doing something, you've got to be stimulated constantly. That's not the case. That's not the case at all. I know we're social beings naturally, that's how we've evolved so well. But when was the last time that you truly just sat there and tried learning about who you are? Because since childhood, you've been bombarded with different people, different personalities, different social conventions, television, celebrities. You're hit with all these different identities and molded into someone that's not really you, but a result of everything you've been exposed to. And under that, it creates a shell over your true self. And that shell is very difficult to break. And I think it can only be broken when you accept loneliness as a time for healing, a time for self-understanding. Think of it as the caterpillar entering its chrysalis, undergoes this transformation where it turns into goo, pretty much dies, and then comes back to life, a butterfly. I know every man watching this isn't going to want to turn into a butterfly per se, but you get the analogy. I use this time to understand why I held opinions that I did and why I behaved in ways that I did. Because maybe I was the reason why I felt lonely, if that makes sense. Maybe I had too high expectations of what a normal human adult existence should be like. Why aren't I constantly on the phone to someone? Why aren't I constantly at the club or playing sports or doing this or doing that or doing this? It overwhelms you. It overwhelms you. And if you just sit somewhere for 10 minutes with no music, no stimulation, nothing, and just sit there with just your thoughts, it becomes, for me at least, it became quite frustrating because I didn't like what was going on up there. And that's what made loneliness for me so hard, was what I was having to deal with up there, because it was the only place I could turn. So I flipped it on itself. And you can do it too. Flip it on its head. Use loneliness as your time to understand who you are. Uncover your true self, your real, authentic self, right? Not this person that's trying to do things to fit in or thinks that they have to behave a certain way in order to be accepted by... Like, no. That noise. Seriously. If you don't allow yourself to be comfortable in solitude and understand who you are, you will never become authentic. You will always be living a lie. You will always have a guise, a mask over your true self This is 99.9% of people. People that operate in a way that's inconducive to how they truly feel. How they truly feel. Opinions they want to express, but they don't think that they can. Behaviors they want to enact on, but they don't want to because they'll feel judged for it. Clothes they want to wear, but don't want to be looked upon as poor or strange or eccentric. It's a growing problem, given how connected we are currently. It's the more connected we become, the more disconnected we are, because we're always expecting to be in conversation or communication with someone, and it can drive you mad. It drove me mad. As you can tell, I'm pretty mad. But loneliness for me was one of the most difficult things that I had to overcome, but also one of the greatest things I had to overcome. And it led to the most improvement in myself. Because when you lean into it, when you accept it, yes, I am lonely. Yes, I want a girlfriend. I want friends. Fine. But why? Why do I want those things? What am I trying to escape from? Accept it. Yes, I'm lonely and this sucks. But you can become the person that doesn't have to rely on people or constant stimulation for positive mental states. It's possible. It really is possible. And I honestly think if more people embraced loneliness and gave it a chance and gave themselves a chance to accustom themselves to it, then the world would be a better place. You know, I made a video quite a while back on this YouTube channel about should you get a girlfriend when on NoFap? And this leads into the same line of conversation as, I'm feeling lonely, so I'm going to go get a girlfriend. Right? That, to me, now, through the other side, makes no sense. Makes absolutely zero sense. If you're experiencing a negative emotion due to your perception and your expectations of how you should be living, as opposed to just following your true, authentic motives, then you're just using that person as a crutch for your loneliness. Saying, okay, I've got this negative emotion, I can get a quick fix by getting a girlfriend, then I'm not going to be alone anymore. You might not be alone anymore, but it's not going to get rid of your loneliness. It may for a while, honeymoon period, going on loads of dates, you're spending loads of time together, you're talking. But as soon as that equals out and it becomes a normal relationship, I guess, it's going to come back. It will come back. Because you can't supplement loneliness. You can't just put a band-aid or a plaster over the top of it and expect it to be gone. Everyone should be comfortable spending prolonged periods of time in their own company. And if you can't, try to think why. What do you dislike about yourself so much that you're unwilling to spend 10, 15, 20, an hour, a day alone with yourself? And once you figure that out, you figure out why you're lonely. And then you address that. It's hard. It's really hard. And I'm only able to talk like this because I'm through the other side. I know this. And I'm not arrogant enough to say, just be comfortable being lonely, bro. Because I've been there, man. I've been there. And I still am to an extent. It's a different type of loneliness now, but it's still there. But I know it's there for a reason. I know it's there because it's just another test that I have to endure to push through and strengthen myself. Because the more comfortable you are in solitude, the stronger your mind is. I'm trying to keep these dramatic pauses to a minimum, but anyway. I'm still relatively new to long form content. I don't script anything. I don't have notes at all. I just talk off the dome. I feel that's the most authentic way that I can create this sort of content. I honestly don't even remember what I've said. But I hope, even if I haven't provided a succinct solution to the problem, that what I've said can be empathized with from those of you that do feel lonely. And if there are any topics that you want me to discuss, please leave a comment, reach out to me on Instagram or Reddit or something. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon. I can't do that, man. No, I can't bring myself to say that. Man, it's cringe. But yeah, this has been Coach Chin. This has been another ramble that I hope that the 12 people that view this will find some sort of solace in listening to. If you've made it this far, I thank you very much. God bless. Peace out. Stay strong. It's your heart that gives you this Western feeling.